All right, here we go. Last day for inequalities. We're not going to go on. We're going to go to absolute value equations next, followed by quadratics, and then quadratic inequalities. And then that's it. The year is done. We're 3 weeks out. So here we go. These are already solved. They are in slope-intercept form because they're solved for y. So we just need to go in here and we'll do our first one, and it's 2. So we're going to go to 2 on the y. And that's because it's solved for y, so that's the y-intercept. If it was solved for x, it would be the x-intercept. So then we're going to do the slope, and it's positive 1, so we're going to go up 1. That's what the positive part means, and then always to the right. So we'll go down and right or up and right, depending on what it is, but this happens to be positive, so it's up and then right too. And then do that in reverse. Down 1 and left 2. And you can keep going if you wanted to and keep doing dots. Down 1, left 2. Up 1, right 2. You could keep doing dots all you want. The more dots you have, the more accurate the line's going to be. Now I need to look. Is it dotted or dashed or solid? And we can see there is no line. So there's no line, which means we dash it. Because any coordinate point on that line will not be a solution. Now we need to go after the next one. The next one starts, its y-intercept is -2. So on the y, we go to -2. From that point, we're going to graph 2 points with the 5/2. So we're going to rise 5 because it's positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run 1, 2, which is right here. Falls right on top of that dot. Now we do it in reverse. Down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and left 1, 2. Dotted or dashed or solid. Going to be dashed because there's no line. Now we need to decide where it's going to be shaded. We have 4 areas. We have this area right here, this area right here, this whole area right here. It includes all this part, and this little tiny area here. It's where this is cut and separates this graph into 4 pieces. 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece. One of the ways I was showing somebody yesterday, they felt it, or Friday, they felt it was pretty good. So let's look at 2. That's this one right here. That's this line. And is it greater or less than? It's less. So less is right here at -10. So we would actually shade this part. And I said, draw little itty bitty light lines. And then you would say this one and this one don't work. Because this is where we would shade it. So it's got to be this one or this one. And how do we do it? We're going to go to this one now. This one, the one at -2, which is this line that goes up and down here. Is it greater or less? It's greater. So if we look at the greater, that's up here. We're going to look at this line. This would be the one that we would shade. We would shade this way. Well, where is it shaded from the other one? Right here, isn't it? This one has a big X in it. It's this one. This is where we'd shade it. So he kind of liked that better for him. He actually did his lines first. Didn't you? Did we do your line first? We did the first one, then we drew the line. So let's try that. Maybe that'll help you understand a little bit more. It's kind of hard to see with 2 lines up there. So, I'm always willing to teach things differently for you guys so you can possibly see where to graph it. So let's do the first one. It's at 2 on the y, and we go up 1 and right 3. Down 1, left 3. This is a dashed line. Now, what we did with him, we said like this. Okay, it's greater, right? So the greater, there's +10 right here. This is greater up here, correct? So if I were just doing one line, I would shade this. And I just very lightly with your pencil. Don't go real deep. just draw some lines and say, okay, up here would be the answer for one line. So just kind of do that real lightly. Anything down here is not an answer. Now I draw the other line, -1. I go to -1, it's right here. I'm going to go down 2. Does everybody see the negative? So I'm going down 2 and then right 3. So down 2, 1, 2, and right 3. And then up 2 and left 3. It's right there. This has a line, therefore it is a line. So now I'm going to draw it. So right now, it can only be in 2 spots, right here and right here, correct? So we look at this one. It says less or greater? Less. So if I go to that line, where's less? Down here, right? Here's -10. So where is it at? The big piece or the little piece? The little piece, right here. Why? Because I've got the lines in it. It's where it lines up. This one doesn't have anything in it, right? And it was less. So this is the part. Some of you may find it easier the other way. I don't know. It's just how you visually see it. But I've given you a couple presentations on how to do it. One, you can do both lines, draw the little hash marks like this one, or do one line at a time like this one. We need to fix this one up here. We need to put a 1 over a 1, right? Do we do anything with this one? It's just a straight line, right? Okay, good. So let's graph this one first, -1. And then since it's -1, we're going to go down 1 and then right 1. So down and right, and then up and left. Make sure that as you go from left to right, that your line is going down because it's a negative slope. By the way, this is less. You can see that right there. I'm sorry, we're not there yet. This is a dashed line because there's no line. So we're going to dash it. And you notice I go from left to right with this line. It's descending. It's going downward. Okay, once again, I can take my pencil. It's less. So the left side is down here. So I would just very lightly with my pencil shade in, just hash it out like you did in art class when you were shading. So you have to know it has to be in here somewhere. This side is not an answer. X is greater than 2, so that means on the x-axis, because that's the x-intercept, so we go to 2 on the x. There is no y, therefore you cannot cross this y-axis right here. So it must run parallel with the y-axis. That means it goes up and down. This one also, if you look, is dashed. There is no line. So we're going to dash that one. So there are 2 spots this can be. Right here, the little one, and right here in the big one. The only 2 places, this one and this one, are out because they're not dashed. So we take our ruler, we look, it's greater. Well, we have to look at the x this time because its x is greater. Well, the greater numbers are there. So I would actually shade over here. And if you wanted to, and I've seen people do this also, where they kind of hash and they go, well, where are both hash marks? Where are both hash marks? Right here, right? So it would be here. This is where you would shade in. Giving you some different techniques. I know this is day 3. Giving you some different techniques to try to figure out how to get to that point to where it's at. But you can see my hash mark here and my hash mark there. It's got to be here. I've already put an X there, so that didn't matter, that part. Now we have a fun one. I already see it. These lines are going to be what? They're going to be parallel. So I've got a 1. That's that right there, the y-intercept. And then I'm going 2 over 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then do it in reverse, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is a line. I draw my line. It happens to be greater. So if it's greater, then this line is up here. So one of these up here, because there's the greater. That's all I did. Little hash marks up there, nothing big, not deep. Don't draw it really thick, just nice and light with your pencil. We should be using pencil. So I know it's somewhere up in here, we hope. Could be nowhere. We don't know. So let's look at this one. This is at -2. And we go up 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Down 2, over 3. And we can see the line. This is a dashed line. This one was a line because it has a line. This is dashed because it does not have a line. All right. This one says less, right, guys? So I go less is here. Where do they mix? They don't, do they? So what's the answer to this? No solution. No solution. If this one were greater and you went here, it would be this yellow part would be the answer, not the center part, because it's all everything up. The only place that it is this part here where both of them are. If this one were greater. But because this one was greater and this one was less, they moved away from each other. They did not cross, therefore there are no answers. There are no numbers you can put in for x and y that will make these equations equal or correct. Okay? Can't solve it. No solution. All right, go on those. Have any questions, let me know.